The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary-related entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, where each week you will find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's cabinet and appliance showroom located in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. For those of you who may be listening to this show for the first time, each week during this hour we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they are changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today we have as our first guest Jill Holly, who is the Maui County Director for the National Kidney Foundation, or actually, I suppose it's Hawaii National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii, Maui County Director, if you want to put it all in a row.
That's perfect. Aloha.
Hi, Jill. How you doing?
Really good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you. Kidney is one of those things that over the years with this show, we've talked to some kidney recipients, to some donors, to some who are kind of on the edge of needing dialysis. And it amazes me that this disease is so prevalent and that so few people know they have it.
Well, it's known to be the silent killer, and that's my whole job, is to get out there and make noise and bring to attention that there are steps and procedures that you can go through to find out about this disease before it gets to the place where you really are kind of handcuffed and can't do anything about it except for dialysis or a possible transplant. So the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii, particularly the Maui branch that serves the county there, tries to get out there, knock on doors, go out into the community, do events, and to tell people, let's just get tested. There's 5 stages of kidney disease, and if we want to find you somewhere before you've moved into like the 4th or 5th stage, because we actually can make a significant difference.
Okay, and when you talk about significant difference, you're talking about there's processes whereby you can live a normal life in stage 1, 2, or 3, but when you get to 4 and 5, you're talking about serious changes to your life.
Well, yes. So for everyone that doesn't know, your kidney is so important because it actually filters out all the bad things and keeps the good things, and it makes us get up and have a normal day life. When you get sick and you have dialysis, you basically have to go to a facility, or you can do it at home as well, and you have to get your blood cleaned. And to do that, you need to do it about 3 or 4 times a week, 2 to 4 hours, depending on who you are. So just that statement in itself says it basically changes your life. So what the Kidney Foundation of Hawaii wants to do is to get out there and find the people that are looking like they're headed in that direction, and like you said, make some lifestyle changes that can make some differences. I mean, you can get kidney disease several different ways. I've even known people who have actually donated cars who will talk story and tell me that they've gotten kidney disease from actual medications that their doctors have prescribed. So, kidney health is in your hands, is what I tell everyone. And it's important to be out in the community, and that's what we try to do.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because as I was researching a little bit for today's show, I saw that pointed out about some of the different medications that people are prescribed, and that the side effects can be some issues with kidneys. And I don't think that there's so many side effects to every drug out there. I don't think people take it seriously anymore. They start reading that list and they go, oh, yeah, okay.
Well, like when you hear on the television and when they're introducing a new product, and it does mention about kidney disease or kidney. And so I know that you and I don't want to say that we want to tell a patient what to do. We want them to refer to their doctor, but we just want them to be educated and in charge and have a dialogue, because when it comes down to it, you are the one that's in charge of your own health.
Well, and I remember too, a couple years ago when Colleen was still with the Kidney Foundation, we talked about how easy it is to have your doctor add the test when you're doing your annual physical.
That's a great point. Thanks for bringing that up. So often people feel like they're doing the right thing. They go to their doctor, they check for diabetes, they check for high blood pressure. By the way, those are the two indicators of kidney disease. But on your lab slip there's a very familiar test. It's actually, we call it a GFR test. It's checking the filtration of your blood. And that's what another one of our missions is, getting out there to make sure that the doctors are bringing it up and that the patients are aware of it, because those are exactly what we want you to do, is get that tested and find out where you are.
And I remember when I went to the doctor for my annual physical that next time around, after we talked about it, I said, by the way, do you test, for kidney issues when I run these labs? And she says, no. Why? She says, you having problems? And I said, no, but I don't want to have problems either. So I want to catch it early if something's starting to happen. And she says, I'll add it and I'll make sure it's on there every time.
And see, that was just perfect, what you just said, because it's a silent killer. So the whole thing about this, if I could leave right now from this radio station, what I want to say is that we don't want you to have problems. If you get to that point, it gets really dire about the alternatives of where you're going to go with your treatment. So that was wonderful that you said that, because it's kind of one of those things, if you're proactive, then you're going to be very happy.
Right. And it's not like it's taking another quart of blood from you to do it. It's part of the regular system. If they're already taking 3 of those little vials of blood, which you think look like a half a quart, and it's really like 4 teaspoons or something, it's there. So just add that one more test and find out. And if you keep track of it from year to year, you'll know if something's starting to change on it and something's happening.
There you go.
Before the show started, you mentioned when you had the screening at Kahumanu Center, was that 2 months ago or whenever that was?
Yes. It's in March.
Okay, a little longer than that.
Yeah.
The year's flying by. That as you're doing your testing, something came up that was something you hadn't had happen before at one of these.
Well, that's true. We had a couple that came via bus to the mall. And they had been married for over 50 years, over 50 years. And the nurses were there, and they took the blood sugar, and immediately they came and got me. And basically their blood sugar was, one was in the low 500s and one was in the high 500s. And if you know anything about blood sugar, that is pretty alarming. And immediately I took them in to the hospital, and because that's very dire, very dire. And I'm not glad that we found them, but I am glad that we found them.
Right.
It's kind of like, and I know that their lives got changed, and they had no clue that their blood sugar was like that. And the nice thing about all of our screenings is that to me, it's Maui comes together at its best. The National Kidney Foundation relies on our volunteers, and we're talking about, professional volunteers, the nursing staff, the diagnostic lab representatives, the doctors who work and do our exit interviews. And I just kind of wanted to do a shout out, because without them, I don't know, it's really hard. And we've got a great community in Maui that pulls together, and we rally together. And we just had a big volunteer celebration honoring all of our volunteers.
Oh, terrific. That's terrific. Now, do we have a higher occurrence of kidney disease here than in a lot of places?
Do we? The national average is about 1 in 9, and here in Hawaii, it's 1 in 7. And that really just has to do with our ethnicity that we have here living in the beautiful island of Maui and Maui County and Hawaii. I think that if you realize that it's 30% higher, and that you may be a little bit more alarmed, because it moves us to an epidemic. Hawaiian, Japanese, Filipino, these are hereditary and with the way we eat and this and that. So it's not because you are that, but it is an indicator as well.
And we all eat those ethnic foods.
Yes,
and
that's correct.
So it's across the board.
It is. It
the
is.
potential for kidney disease.
Well, like the diabetes and the high blood pressure. Those are indicators. It doesn't actually mean that you're going to get kidney disease, but they are indicators.
Right. Now, and with those, as with a lot of things, there really is no warnings. I mean, it's not like this is gonna happen. When this happens, you have a problem. You can't say that about kidney disease because there's so many things that are similar to other diseases that you're going to experience that you could go with your doctor down a whole long list of things before you ever get to kidney problems.
That's a very good point, and that's why it's good to be proactive and preventative. And that's our entire goal, is to get out there and touch base with everyone and to educate everyone so that they can be, again, in charge of their health.
Very good, very good. And so, with your different events that you put on, you've got a website that's loaded with materials. One of the things I was looking at was the difference between chronic kidney disease and acute renal failure. Was it? Yeah, we're going into maybe too much medicine here, but it's like, can these things just hit you? I mean, can you be that far?
Yeah, actually, it can. Without being so graphic, you can go to the restroom and find blood in your urine, and then you chat with your doctor, and now he tells you that you've already gone to a place that is a stage 4 or 5. Right. And that, remember, we said we want to stay away from that.
Right.
So that's the whole point. It's like I know when we teach classes, there's a lot of the public that's kind of angry, like, why did I not know? And that's the whole point. We don't want anyone to be guilty because they don't know.
Right.
So that's it, and that's why it's called the silent killer, and that's why we need help in fighting this good disease.
Well, I was looking at some of the things we were talking about, how this is the same sort of things that you find when you're having just the flu, feeling weak or tired, trouble sleeping, swelling of feet and ankles, poor appetite, muscle cramps, nausea, itching, shortness of breath. The one that hit me was this metallic taste in the mouth. And I think, okay, now that's something you don't get with a lot of things, but you could. I guess there's.
Well, also like the swelling of your hands and feet.
Right.
You would think sometimes maybe that's diabetic, right?
Oh yeah, right.
So, like you said, it's good, and sometimes the person is kind of thrown off in which way to go about, and then automatically they end up later on with kidney disease
Right.
because of that. So there are ways to get tested. There's great blood work. You could do urine work that you can find out.
Right. And looking at some of these, and it would be nice if there was if you have 3 out of 4 of these, you're in danger. But you don't want to throw that out there. You don't want to make everybody just panic.
Well, that, and also everybody is different.
Right.
From one thing that I've learned in this position, and from hearing all the different stories, whether you're a kidney receiver or recipient, or if you're a donor, everybody's story is so different. Everybody's symptoms are different, and it's quite interesting. We just recently had a donor in December. And she's on a mission. She's out there. She believes that people should give up your kidney and get out there and fight for the people that are in Hawaii that are on dialysis, and pretty much that's the only hope that they have.
Right.
And there's that crossover between like having your 2 kidneys and wanting to hold on to them, and realizing that you can function with just 1 kidney. Of course, it's a personal decision,
Right.
And it has a lot to do with your situations in life and whatnot. But everybody's story is so different.
She sounds like somebody who's sorry she only has 1 she can give.
She's a fine lady. She really is.
If she could grow another one, she'd keep giving them. But they don't grow back. That's not the way it works.
That's correct. And a lot of times when they actually do the surgery, they'll keep the bad kidney, and they'll just add an additional one.
Right. I have a friend that has she's been on the show before, Jack. What she said, she has 5 kidneys, 4 or 5. Yeah, it's because she's.
Oh, right.
Others
I might
have
know
failed.
her. I might know her.
You know, and yeah, I'm sure there's not a whole lot of people like that out there, but it just seemed really strange when she said they just keep adding them.
And
they never
see
take them out.
what an individual story that is.
Yeah.
I think she has working on her 4th transplant.
Oh, wow. Oh. So they just keep failing. Is that the problem?
Not always. No.
No.
I mean, now they've gotten to be very good.
No, I mean, in her case.
In her case,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, the surgery itself is very promising and very successful most of the time.
Yes.
I understand.
And she's active with the Kidney Foundation and gets out there. And like I said, it's just a ohana.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Now, once, I'm getting the signal. We got to take a break. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui. Hello, where'd that come from? We are back. Maui Nonprofit Notes. Today, talking story with Jill Hawley, who is the Maui County Director for the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii. I just said it all. What the heck? You got it.
There you go.
She's our resident expert on what's happening with kidney disease here in Maui County, and trying to get people out there to get their testing on a regular basis. This is not the kind of thing that you want to test every 5 years for, is it?
No, and particularly here in Hawaii, I say it's not going to hurt. You're going to do your lab work for your diabetes and whatnot, or your triglycerides. So go ahead and check it every time you check for those items. So one thing I did want to tell you is that there is a new dialysis center here in Maui,
okay.
And it's in the Lahaina area, and it's at the Gateway Plaza.
Okay.
So that's nice to know they have a different type of concept because it is in the Lahaina area. It also is going to take care of the locals and tourists. There's tourists that come and visit us, and they need to get their blood clean.
Never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to travel
Right.
to certain places if there's no abundance, shall we say, of beds for kidney dialysis, or chairs, whatever they call them these days.
Right, exactly.
But they still, they can't go for 2 weeks without.
Well, in general, when you're traveling, you're going to research this ahead of time, and you're going to make appointments with the dialysis center. But having the one in Lahaina now, that makes 2. There's one in Kahana, and there's one in proper Lahaina town in the Gateway area.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. That's the new one.
Okay. Are these independent organizations that have them, or are
Liberty
they-
and Rainbow.
Okay, the ones that we have.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't Liberty the one down here too?
Correct.
In Wailuku?
Correct.
Okay. And then now, does Hana have one or not?
It does. And matter of fact, it has one of the first. It was a house converted dialysis center. I just saw that. We did a screening in Hana. I guess it was in April. And that was my first time to see the actual house that was converted over. So.
Okay, so that keeps a lot of people from having to travel that awful. Well, it's not awful road anymore. We old timers think of it as that awful road, but especially like if they're coming in by bus.
Correct.
That's an all day trek.
Right. I hear you. I do.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to be revisiting Lahaina in October. So that's forthcoming.
For screening.
Yes.
And that's do you know where that's gonna be at?
It's going to be at the Cannery Mall. It's going to be October 3rd. I think the fair this year is actually in September, the last part of September.
Oh, okay, the last
which
weekend.
is unusual.
Okay.
And
So this is the next weekend.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's going to be at the Cannery Mall, and of course we're going to make it fun, so we can have music and have things for the keiki to do and whatnot. But we're hoping to do it like a really big screening. Last time we did, we screened 50 people, and 14 showed the beginning signs of kidney going in the wrong
Wow.
way. So isn't
Yeah.
that nice? And then after we find these people, we actually teach classes. They're called our Kiwi Cat classes. And it basically is a four class throughout the month. And we talk about different things on each day. And then we wrap it up with a grocery store tour. I mean, because it what you eat makes a big difference with your kidney disease. So,
Right.
and we just, it's a kind of a complete program. So we're going to go back there and knock on the doors in Lahaina with our radio and try to get people to come out, and we'll do our screening, and it'll be fun. And we normally do them from 10 to 2, and I'll be back, I'm sure, and tell you, talk about it
Good.
more.
Yeah,
and
let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's make a date for that. The grocery store thing intrigues me. Walking down the aisles, no, yes.
Yeah, and we have a dietitian that kind of explains things, and that's really good. And now we're actually working very heavy with MEO, and I've been visiting all the seniors,
the clubs.
Yeah, and so we do a Kidney 101, and I should say on the radio that if you're an organization that wants a little education on anything like that, please feel free to contact me at the National Kidney Foundation. We're located in Kahului, and our number is 808-986-1900.
Very good, very good. And would be good to have you. I can see why the seniors would be a good audience for you because, like you said, this couple that you found at the screening with those high
Blood sugar
numbers were an older couple.
Right.
And if it progresses, I don't know that much about diabetes, but if it progresses slowly enough, you may not realize the difference in your body.
It was so funny when the nurses wouldn't let them move. I mean, they were pretty traumatized by these figures, and it was like I had to bring the car up, and it was like we got to get you there. And these the individuals, this couple, they were like, "What are y'all talking about? What is going on?" And I know when they got there, they're like, "Do you feel okay? Are you okay?" Because the numbers are so alarming,
Right.
and they kept them. So
Yeah. Wow. You may have just saved their lives that day.
well, I'm sure they're going to get some great treatment, so that's what makes me happy.
Right. Very good. So now one of the things that you do is you've got these pods out around the community to collect donations,
Yes.
clothing, some household goods.
It's a co-op in it with the Savers Company. So we have 5 locations now. In Lahaina, it's in Kahana, across from McDonald's. Then we have one in Pukalani across at the Long's location. We just added Paia, and that's at the First Hawaiian Protestant Church. Then we have one right at my office, which is in Kahului. It's right across from Sheik's Restaurant.
Okay.
And then in Kihei, across from Hope Chapel. And so what we do is we are open pretty much, well, definitely every day from 10 to 5. You can bring by your small household items, gently used clothes. We give you a receipt, so it is tax deductible. And we're very grateful that we are able to take these and we convert it to funds so that we can get back out in the community and do these screenings.
Terrific. Now, is that manned by volunteers or is that
No,
staff?
we actually have staff that
Wow.
that does that, and the whole purpose is we really need to grow our screenings. As we've done better than we ever have. This year, we're conducting 3 of our larger screenings. Those are the ones that look for the protein in the blood. But and in the last couple of years, we only did one. So I feel good about that. But
Wow.
that we're not ready. We need to keep going. We need to. I want to tell you that we're pretty much running around the clock doing all these screenings.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Not like you have a large staff over here.
Yeah, that's the problem. So, but we are dedicated, though.
Very good, very good. Any last thoughts you want to pass on to the audience while we've got a couple minutes?
Well, just also the other program is our Kidney Cars.
All right.
And we have a website. It's www.kidneyhigh.org. So if you're interested in maybe donating a car, again, it's tax deductible, itemized tax deductible. And you can go on the website. You can peruse where it says Kidney Cars and see if there's, if that might be something you might want to do. For people, again, that are out there that are communities or organizations that need any type of educational programs, call us. We'll be glad to get out there. The National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii just really wants to be a friend to the community and, more importantly, for people out there that have kidney disease. And anything you need, please call us, 808-986-1900.
Very good. That number again is 986-1900. The cars, do they have to be running?
In Maui, we do want the
You do?
cars running,
Okay.
but in Oahu, they're have a little bit more luxury there.
Okay. They've got some folks who can work on them.
Hey, thanks so much.
Thank
You're
you,
so
Jill.
good to do this great work, and please have me back. I want to shout out some more.
We definitely will do that before the October 3rd screening over in Lahaina.
Sounds great.
Thank you for all the information and sharing with people. And like we said earlier, the easiest way to make sure you're on the right side of this is to tell your doctor when you have your annual physical, please screen me for kidney disease.
Right, because it is silent.
You're right. Okay. Thank you, Jill.
Uh-huh.
Have a great week.
Thank you, too.
Okay. Well, our next guest is somebody who's no stranger to the community. Honest Lyons, who is going to be talking to us about the Palaka Award, named after somebody that you're pretty familiar with.
Well, yes, Mike Lyons was my father, so I'm quite familiar with him. Thank you. This is, one way to get to continue his legacy of service to the community. I, in fact, am the co-president of the Rotary Club of Kahului right now.
Congratulations.
Which is kind of a legacy appointment for me, as Mike was a member of the Rotary Club of Kahului for a number of years. Well, Rotary altogether 30 plus years, and Kahului, a great number of those. As the clubs kind of progressed, we now have 11 clubs in the
Are there
county
really?
of Maui, in Maui County.
My goodness.
He moved around a little bit.
So more breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then some, I guess.
Yeah, well, Mike gave up golfing so that he'd have more time for his family and his community.
Did he really?
Yes, indeed. He used to go golfing at 6 o'clock in the morning a couple times a week, and he decided that that wasn't as important to him as his family and his community. So.
Wow. Those of us, I just had a few years with him because I was fairly new to Maui. But just, the stories that I've heard, having met him and talked story with him just a little bit, it is such a legacy. There's just, at that time, the only names I can think of are like Cameron.
Right.
And I forget his first.
Colin Cameron.
Colin Cameron,
Yep.
right. And Mike, and there was one more. Who was the other one that was like the three names that you heard? Whatever the community event or service or product or project was, one of these three were involved.
They were
in.
there, yeah.
And Mike probably more. Well, of course we lost Cameron a long time ago.
Yes.
And so it's like, Mike, you're it.
Right.
And then when we lost him, it was too early.
Well, I agree with that.
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
He was 67 when he died, and one of the last things he ever said to me was, I thought I'd have more time. And what he meant by that was, I wanted to do more for my community than I've done to date. And
Wow.
he thought he would have another, 15 or 20 years to serve. And Just wasn't meant to be.
Right. Now, had he retired at that point?
He had.
He had, okay.
By a few years.
Okay, I couldn't remember whether he did or not. So we have the Michael Lyons Palaka Award, and in the years past, now this has been going on for quite a few years.
Yeah, originally it started with the Cameron Center, of which he was on the
Board?
Inaugural board, or
Right,
the
yeah,
first
okay.
board. Yeah,
Right,
and-
creating the center.
Yeah, and that started in 2004 as a community leadership award that the Cameron Center had put together, and then the Rotary Club of Kahului was passed the baton in 2011, where it became the award, and the event that we've scheduled around it became a signature event for the Rotary Club of Kahului.
Okay, so it's quite a few people have been honored by this. I shouldn't say quite a few. 2004. That's only 11
sure,
years.
yeah. So, in our venue with the Rotary Club of Kahului, we've had 4 recipients, and those include Helen Nielsen, who was the first person to receive the award from the Rotary Club of Kahului.
He's done a lot with what was it?
The Hawaiian Islands Land Trust.
Land
So
Trust.
back then, it was the Maui Coastal Land Trust.
Right.
And she was on again on that first board, and served a number of different positions, including board president, and was instrumental in working with then Executive Director Dale Bonar to transition Maui Coastal Land Trust into a statewide land trust,
yeah.
which there were 5, I believe it was 5 land trusts that merged into the statewide land trust we call Hawaiian Islands Land Trust now. So Helen Nielsen, was the first person to receive it. George Martin, Dr. Martin, as many, and Doc Martin, others know him as, was another recipient, and he went to extraordinary lengths with Cardin Academy.
Right.
When he came on the board, he found an organization that was having difficulty staying afloat. And he tirelessly moved that organization to a thriving educational center. And so, due in large part to his leadership, we have the Cardin Academy upcountry as an option for schooling.
With a full campus at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they purchased the church that was in front of their
That's
building,
right.
I guess, or they were on there. They rented from them at some point.
That's
now
right.
they own it. So they've grown tremendously. He did a wonderful job.
Yeah, interesting side note. I went to Seabury Hall, and when I went to Seabury Hall in the 80s, it was the same age as Cardin Academy is now. So about 15 years or so old, and I just had no idea that the institution I was attending was that young at that time. It just seemed like it was an established institution. So it goes to show that you may not see what's happening in the background, but there is absolutely need for leadership at all times.
Right. And he certainly provided it, and the fundraising that goes with that is certainly can't be understated.
Right.
I mean, it's just or can't be overstated, because it's a continuous battle to increase the numbers and bring in those dollars.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah.
Well, and education is a kind of a theme for one of the other recipients, and that's Kimokeo Kapalehua.
Right.
If I don't stumble over his name too much.
Kimokeo, everybody knows.
Yeah, he through his Ao on Loko Ia Maui, he has educated over 15,000 students here on Maui. In cultural practices and environmental stewardship.
Wow.
Yeah,
and I know of his work with the Kihei Canoe Club.
Mm-hmm.
He's done blessings for us for some of our housing projects and things, and just a gentle giant.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say about him, because there's nothing he wouldn't do for you, and yet he knows all these things, and he's got this history. And knows what should be done, must be done.
Yeah.
But has a way of putting it across so that you understand it. It's not a demand. It's something you want to do.
Yeah. Well, I've known of Kimokeo for many years, and we finally met I don't know, 10 years ago or so, and it was on a Hawaiian Airlines flight, and he turned around and said, "Hi, Honest, my name is Kimokeo." I was like, why would you even know who I am, Kimokeo? You know, I certainly knew who he was. But you know, he again is one of those pillars of the community that just creates that fabric that we have here on Maui.
Right, wonderful.
Yeah.
I know. I think I've been to all 4 of the luncheons that the Rotaries had, and when his name was announced, I mean, it was just wow. Because of his background and the people he's working with and so on and so forth. But definitely, I mean, 15,000 people.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And, you know, that's probably an underestimate.
Probably, yes.
You know, because he does all this canoe work as well. And
yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Voyaging. I know that they paddle up in the Northwestern Hawaiian Islands as well.
Oh, so that's right. Yeah.
Pretty amazing work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention last year's recipient, who is Helen McCord. And Helen, of course, has a lot of different hats that she wears here in the community. But she was nominated by Maui Youth and Family Services for her leadership on their board. And, you know, in the 20 or so years that she's been with them, she's seen just a huge expansion of their programs and their effectiveness. And probably most significant, she spearheaded the merger committee for Maui Youth and Family Services, Aloha House, and Malama Family Recovery Center, which now all operate under the same roof.
Right. The first and only that have combined their efforts to make the back house, if you will, one entity for all 3, and saving administrative costs, etc. Yeah, and I think our signature event for the Youth and Family Services was the one with the floral decorations.
They call it Growing Dreams.
There you go.
And I have to admit, I've never attended, but I guess I'm going to have to now.
Yeah, I apparently every year it just gets bigger and better, and the competition gets more fierce, and it's just one beautiful day at that hotel in the ballroom.
Yeah, well, that's terrific, and you know, Helen, I've known Helen and her family since I was a little kid, you know, running around barefoot up country.
Well, and we have to talk about the Christmas trees. I mean, that's if you don't know Helen any other way, it's because of the Christmas trees that they grow, and it's probably one of the few places where you're not going to find a Monterey pine.
Yeah.
Well, no, it is a Monterey pine.
They're Douglas firs, I believe.
Douglas firs, right? Yeah. And so people who want live trees, there you are. They cut them down right that weekend or the weekend before at the earliest. So you've got 4 tremendous winners. Boy, how does somebody follow that?
Yeah, well, you know, and we thought about that a little bit, and you know, those four winners got the award, but there are many other people who have served our community and who have served it well, who have been nominated, who didn't quite get their moment in the sun at that point, but you know, who are very deserving of this as well.
It's hard to sit there and listen to the nominees and know some of the nominees and say, whoa, any one of them could have been the winner.
Exactly.
You know, and on any given year, and these different sets of judges, whatever the case might be. And I mean, it's one of those things where there was only one winner. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to tell you how you fix that.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story about what our nonprofit agencies are doing to keep Maui the best it can be. We're talking story today in the second half of the show with Honest Lyons, who's talking about the Rotary Club and its the 2015 Michael H. Lyons II. Is there a third?
There is a Michael, but he's not Michael
the third.
Henry Lyons.
Okay. Palaka Award, which for those of you who have been involved with the nonprofit world know this to be the kind of the epitome award for those who have gone beyond what is expected of a normal board member who's keeping all of our nonprofits going and growing and doing great things. So, Honest, I think you had a few things you wanted to talk about with regards to just in general the nonprofit areas.
Well, sure. There's this interrelationship between business and nonprofit, the various people that make up a community, and I just find Maui to be a different place. It's a place that's supportive of each other. It's all these types of agencies and businesses are very supportive of each other in a way that I don't think you see in other places. Even on Oahu, for example.
It's cutthroat there.
Well, it's certainly more siloed, I think.
Yeah.
And around on Maui, that you have cross pollination. You have an interest in seeing your neighbor succeed, and whether that be your true neighbor or your neighbor agency, Mike really epitomized that. He served on dozens of boards over his lifetime, and he just felt that cross-pollinating was the thing to do, and supporting people was the thing to do, and being there for the executive director, who is a lonely person at times.
Yes.
Yeah. It's hard. So Mike really felt a need to support the community through that service, and Rotary is a lot the same. That's why he became a Rotarian. Rotary's slogan is service above self. So I think about that, serving above your own interests, and Rotarians really live that. I encourage everyone to familiarize yourself with the Rotary logo. If you see that logo, you know that somebody who has that logo on them is a trustworthy, kind, serving individual, and they'll go to the end of the earth to help you out. So Rotary is just really a great venue for people, and the reason why I joined is to help guide my service, to help guide my giving, my philanthropy, to help me frame my own thoughts about what my duty to the community is, and it's done a great job doing that.
Terrific.
Yeah,
that's terrific. And I mean, we are one of the few places where we have this Maui Nonprofit Directors Association.
Exactly.
And that's perhaps part of the outcome of Mike Lyons. The other name I was thinking of, more on the other side, was like Gladys Baisa, and some of the folks with her, Roy Katsuda,
right?
Some of the early,
long-time
executive directors, who worked with Mike and folks and Cameron really closely, and they knew that something had to happen here to make this gel, and I think we're living the life because of that.
Yeah.
Because other places do say, how do you do this? Why you guys are working together on things all the time, and there's a synergy going on, and in other places, it's there's a grant out there, and they're all vying for that same grant. Whereas here, you could even end up with the grant going to one party with assistance from other agencies in that grant program, and so it's I agree, and I think it's because of people like Mike.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a key point because of people like Mike. It's not because of Mike. Mike served his part in the
Right.
the whole, but it's it's the people of Maui who just are really generous and energetic and
Right.
thoughtful people.
But somebody has to lead it, and
Well-
there's where I think Mike comes in. And
Sure.
is the example for people to get involved.
Right, and that's why this award is based on leadership.
Right.
It really looks at who are the leaders, who are the people making a difference for their organizations. So in the past, the award went to somebody who had at least 5 years of service and who had made a transformational difference to their organization. So we're essentially keeping that criteria. But expanding the awards to 3 instead of 1. And the first will maintain that flavor of a transformational difference, although the service doesn't necessarily need to be to a single organization. It could be across organizations. So, many people serve on several boards at the same time,
Right.
or they serve for 5 years here and 5 years at another place, as their leadership is needed. And so the first award has changed in that way that it could be across
Okay.
organizations.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
There's value in that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
No, I think that's great because you're right. I mean, if you stay on a board too long, you either get burned out or there's no new something happening. There has to be the replenishing of new ideas and so forth to go along. So you've got some senior members, some new members, et cetera,
Right.
at all times. And being able to go from one board, okay, I've served my 2-3 year terms. Now I'm going on to this board. And it's not usually that way. It's usually I've got 4 boards that I'm on and keeping track of which one's doing what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it really depends on the organizational dynamic. But in general, my sense is that, or at least for myself, I feel I can provide, X amount of leadership for an organization before they need somebody who doesn't have my mindset. They need somebody to kind of take them off in the next direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's
Yeah.
where I am anyways. Although, there's something to be said about or institutional history, and that's very important too.
Yeah.
So it's
So
a
I mean,
balance.
it's the history, and then it's the vibrant move to the new. Things are changing,
Yeah.
and we've got to change with it.
Yeah.
And so it takes people who can see the past but acknowledge the future's coming.
Yeah. So our second award is somebody who has worked for 2 years or more on a specific project that has significantly helped an organization. So, whether that be a capital campaign or whether that be the building out of some campus for a nonprofit organization. It's somebody who's really led something concrete for the organization.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then finally, to your point about new leadership, we're awarding an award to somebody who's under 40 who has made a significant impact to a nonprofit organization as a volunteer. So these people across all 3 of these, they can be board members, they can just be volunteers, they can be of any sort, they can be people who just serve on committees and don't serve on boards, or they could be volunteer legal help for that matter.
Interesting. Yeah, that's true, because a lot of times we think of board members as being the only people involved, but they're not. A lot of times boards have committees which are made up of folks who can't really say they've got the time to serve on the board, but are really involved and excited about some project they're doing. So they put in all their efforts, save for those 3 months getting ready for that event or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. So now everybody's out there, and it's wow.
Yeah, so we're currently collecting applications, and we will be through July 3rd.
Okay.
The application can be found at Kahului Rotary, KahuluiRotary.com.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a fillable form, so you can do it right there
that's right.
online.
Yeah, that's right.
And submit it online?
No, you need to print it
Okay.
and send it in to us. Yeah,
because you're going to have attachments.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Exactly.
KahuluiRotary.com.
That's correct. And the whole point behind, so there are 3 points behind having this event. One is to honor people who are leaders in our community. The second is to raise money for scholarship funds that the Rotary Club of Kahului has put together. Last year, the event raised $11,500 that we matched with some Rotary funds to give out $21,500 worth of scholarships to Maui High School students.
Is that an all-time high?
For our club, yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Now, the fundraising part is kind of an interesting part with the golf ball drop.
Yeah, and so we are putting together 6 packages. The grand prize is going to include a Tahoe condo stay, but there's going to be all kinds of stuff on the west side, south side stays, some spa treatments, and
Cool.
and so it's $10 for a golf ball, or if the more golf balls you purchase, the lower the per ball price becomes.
Okay, the discounts kick
Yeah,
in.
and actually this year we've instituted a furthest from the hole prize, so that
I have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's got a chance this year. Everybody's got a chance. And the other way
Interesting.
you can support this event is by becoming a sponsor. We have $1,500, $1,000, and $500 sponsorships. Each of those provides various perks to the sponsor, and I'd be happy to send somebody any information that they like. They can get in touch with me through the website,
Okay.
which is kahaluirotary.com.
Right.
And then lastly, purchasing tables and seats at the event.
Right.
Really helps. It's a great see and be seen event. It's really feel good. Again, all the leaders of our community show up.
And, when I go, I get pumped up because I hear about what all these people are doing, and I go, wow.
Yeah,
And I can't wait to go out and do a little more myself.
it's inspiring.
Yeah. And the golf ball drop is so interesting because I know people keep saying the more balls you buy, the better the chance you have of getting that grand prize. And for years, it seemed like that was the case. People who won it did have 100 balls or something that they
Right.
bought. But was it last year or the year before that it was somebody who bought 3?
Yeah, I think it was last year. Yeah.
Oh, there's hope.
Yeah. Well, and it's actually a great gift you can give to your employees. Buy 100 balls and give them each 2 balls or
there
3
you go.
balls or whatever.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Well, honest, we have to wrap this up here real quick, but thank you for joining us. And I think we're going to have your co-president on in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Alexis Descoulias.
I think the 2 of us will probably come.
Oh, you both come.
Yep.
Okay, that'll be great, and we'll talk a little more about it.
Yeah, August 28th.
Okay, great. The Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Bayshard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. The Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's mission is to provide personal and professional support to nonprofit executive directors, their organizations, and the community of Maui. Please visit our website at mauinonprofit.org for a list of member agencies. Take a look and see if there's any organization there that you might be interested in helping out, and go to their website and see what you can get involved in. Today we visited with the Kidney Foundation and with the Kahului Rotary, the Michael Lyons Palaka Awards with Honest Lions, and the Kidney Foundation with Jill Holly. Oh boy, time is running out, and I ran out of breath. Anyway, so we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, for the more information on the Palaka Awards, that's kahaluirotary.com. For more information on the Kidney Association, that's 986-1900. We want to thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to join us again next week, right here, same time, when we'll be featuring 2 more agencies of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. Thanks for joining us. Aloha.